about as close as it's gonna get. You're sitting right next to me. We live together. We have, intimate marriage relations. Sorry for that brief interruption there because I had to check the text. I think we'll all go outside for a little bit because the neighbor's outside. Let's see what's happening. Are you up here at the top or down at your house? Are you outside right now? Hey, Jared. I don't know. Maybe he can't hear me. I don't know what that says. I'll have to go look at the big screen. Jared says there's northern lights going on right now. But, I'm trying some regular lights, non-northern lights on. Good evening, Hysteric. That's what it says. Let me get my glasses. Those will help. Those will help me read things. So, I'm out here in the night, the mountain night, and apparently, if I wanted to see them, I would turn these lights off probably, but apparently, you can see the northern lights out here. That seems so unlikely to me, but Jared says he has to get a time-lapse photo. I don't know. Welcome to a rock and roll Tuesday. What makes it a rock and roll Tuesday? Well, it's a day that includes both rocking and rolling. That's why. That's why they don't call it a rock or roll Tuesday, because it includes both. So what are all the spiritual truths that we have to share with you, all the super truths? And why am I live streaming again, you might ask? Well, number one spiritual truth, super truth that I have to share with you, is that you and me and everything, we are all one. Everything is interconnected. Wow. My mind's blown. I know yours must be as well, Winston's mom. We'll just wait patiently here in anticipation of a drifter passing through or two to mix it up. The truth is that I thought today was Wednesday, and so you said it's Tuesday. It is Tuesday, yes. Your mind is blown. Hi, Black Star. How are you? I'm doing fine, like poo poo poo. I've not been super productive this evening, but I did get a lot of stuff done today, a lot of important stuff. I made a dental appointment for Rachel, for example, to get her teeth cleaned. What's the most fish you ate in one sitting? I mean, at most 2, I would say. Unless they're very small fish that have been combined into like a fish stick or something. You're just smoking some Orion's Belt strain, huh? Well, no, in fact, Orion's Belt was actually too small for him. He almost never wore it. People always thought, that's odd that we chose to name a constellation after a belt he never wore. But gradually people came to just assume that he must have worn the belt a lot. He didn't. It didn't fit him. One time I ate 8 trout, 2 bass, and 3 sunnies whole. I don't like fish. I ate a 10-pound octopus raw in China for a competition. Well, and then you spent days puking because it was so gross. Maybe you should go compete in that hot dog contest. With Joey Chestnut and that Japanese guy. And you could be like, instead of eating hot dogs, you just start eating octopuses and surprise everybody. And we'll be like, what's going on? What's that guy doing? He's eating octopuses. Why? Nobody knows. So what are the important spiritual truths that we're talking about today, okay? Number 1 is chakras. How are your chakras doing? What a lot of people don't know is that your chakras actually get enlarged as you get older, and they can inhibit the flow of your chi. So what you want to do is some brief chakra exercises I will teach you. Do this with me, and this will loosen up, free up your chakras. Just do that, okay? And then do it with your legs too. And this is how you disenlarge your chakras if you're getting older, and it'll free up the flow of your chi. And that will allow you to do all kinds of jutsus, including, of course, shadow clone jutsu, which is everybody's favorite.
I hope my jutsu will be okay for the dentist appointment.
Yeah, you're just going for a cleaning and a look-see.
My cleaning's gonna be bloody.
Well, you know, that's in the Middle Ages, they used to put leeches on people to take their blood out because they thought it made them better.
Oh, so maybe it'd be like a cleansing.
Yeah, a bloodletting.
A bloodletting. That's what I'm going
Thinking, yeah. Think, like, I'm going to get the benefits of a bloodletting. Look, get rid of some of your bad humors. Black Star says, hi, Rachel. I'll put this on the screen.
Who said?
Black Star.
Hi, Black Star.
So you might be saying to yourself, well, Eric, what are we going to do tonight? I'm talking with fancy. We're going to do arts and crafts. We could. I could draw some spirit animals for some people, conceivably. Let me see if I've got some blank paper over here. Well, why don't I go get a few pieces of paper?
I really think you're so handsome and you're the one for me.
Thanks, beautiful. Likewise, except not handsome, but beautiful. I've got a few pieces of paper here. And I'm really feeling like I'm channeling the spirit guides right now. Very effectively. And using my now loosened up chakras and the free flow of chi, I can begin to project my aura into the world around me and pick up messages from everyone's different various spirit guides. Kilo Papa. Who's Kilo Papa? Kaleidoscopic Void? Is that Kilo Papa? Did someone say free flochi? No. I don't think so. But if you'd like me to, I could say free flochi. And I just did.
You guys, I just want to be in Eric's skin right now. I feel so attached to him. I feel so attached.
Well, we're sitting right next to each other, so nothing to worry about there. YouTube wants to be assholes. Do they? Kaleidoscopic void. Is it really a void if it's kaleidoscopic? No. So I have paper here, and there's a variety of things that I could do. I could draw spirit animal, draw soulmate. I could draw your soul's place. Your soul's place, or your soul place, it's sometimes called, is the location in the world where you are meant by your spirit guides to be. If you were to go there and be there, you'd be incredibly relaxed and at peace. We're going to write a poem. I could write a poem as well. Would you like me to write? If anybody has a topic of a poem they'd like me to write, I'd be happy to do that. I could channel your spirit guides in poetry form as well. I have that ability.
Could you channel our chakras in poetry form?
Channel our chakras, like you and me?
Yeah, like if you were to do like a chakra reading, and based on the 7 chakras, what kind of energy poem do I get?
7 chakras are there now. You wonder whether, when, and how the chi that flows through chakra gates will make you early, bold, or late. 7 chakras are there now. You wonder whether, when, and how the chi that flows through chakra's gate will make you early, bold, or late. I'm not done yet.
Oh.
Well, all of them are optimized to unlock your most spirit eyes, and thus to make it so you see the world around you perfectly. All right, there we go. 7 chakras are there now. You wonder whether, when, and how. The chi that flows through chakras gate will make you early, bold, or late. Well, all of them are optimized to unlock your most spirit eyes, and thus to make it so you see the world around you perfectly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That is a poem for Rachel about her chakras.
I feel like it's like letting go of control.
Yeah, I can bang out rhyming metered verse pretty good. I'm pretty good at that.
What picture is that? Is that me?
Oh, where?
That next to Black Star's membership thing, you know?
Oh, it's one. Maybe it is. I don't know. You could go up and look at it on the screen closer. Thanks, Ruben R. I do have good skills at making poems. I spent some time after I learned about metered verse. Since I'm walking around and trying to talk in my head exclusively in rhyming metered verse. So I got pretty good at it.
It's not, it's just like a guy from a meme or something.
Well, let's see. My spirit guides, I'm gonna let them commune with everyone else's spirit guides. I'm gonna draw a picture and we'll see what it has to tell us about the world, ourselves, and other things like that.
Your eyes closed?
No, my eyes are open. But I'm not drawing with my regular eyes. I'm using my spirit eyes. Okay? My eyes are open, but I am blind right now because I'm so attuned to my spirit eyes. I can't even see anything. Except spirit stuff, of course. I see lots of that.
Will you be my boyfriend for life?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Johnny Doe.
What? This guy.
Is that turkey?
Well, it has turkey qualities to it. It's turkey-esque.
Oh, speaking of turkey, talk about your thing first, and then we'll talk about turkeys.
Talk about what thing? My amazing picture?
Yes.
Well, I guess it's not done yet. His legs are too skinny for his body. That's why he has so many of them. If you've got very skinny legs, you need to have more of them. That's why bugs have so many legs. Whereas if you have very fat legs, like elephants, you only need one leg. That's why elephants only have one leg. That's called evolution, people. Okay? As simple as that. Just deal with it. Everybody just needs to accept evolution and get over it already. Okay. So this creature, it's extinct now, but it used to live on Earth. It's called the many-legged turkey bug. You want me to draw your animal soulmate? I'm telling you right now, squirrels are running the world. What are they trying to accomplish with it? What are they trying to accomplish by running the world? Are they trying to successfully have more nut hiding places to prevent the turkeys from getting to their nuts? That makes sense. It makes plenty of sense to everybody. So this extinct creature, it spoke English actually. You don't have an animal soulmate, okay? You have a spirit animal or you have a regular soulmate. You could also have your universal symbol, like that. It's just a little icon. This is your universal symbol, Share Media. That's the symbol of your spirit. Okay, it looks a little bit like a retarded unicorn head.
Can I see?
Yeah, if I put a little mouth on it, especially.
Oh wow! Okay, I see how the retardedness is a little bit there. The head is a little bit brainy.
Right. Well, yeah. Maybe that's just his hair, though. He's got some very thick hair. Show me it. This is your universal symbol. A thick-haired, four-head horn unicorn. Unicorns' horns are not supposed to be on top of their heads like this, right? They're supposed to be like go pokes forward. Like you said, that's fine. It's in a good place. It's fine. Johnny Doe, your universal symbol is this. This is your universal symbol for Johnny Doe. It's 3 scoops and a star with a line. Okay? And there, Johnny Doe. Now it's a portrait of you. There. It's a perfect image of you. It's just, yeah, it looks exactly like your driver's license. Okay. Fly Guy. Here's your universal symbol. This is it. This is your universal symbol according to your spirit guides. This symbol represents your unique soul. Oh my God. This dress is so beautiful. I love it so much. That's why I've got legs and everything. There. And that's what it looks like when fully completed. Well, that's not the symbol part, but this is what's implied by the symbol. Okay? Winston's mom, this is your universal symbol. This is your universal symbol, Winston's mom. Just like that. Okay? And when it's completed, it looks like that. Do you still have the Pepsi jacket? I do still have the Pepsi jacket. Floor in the bedroom. Hi, Popovich. I like how you call me Rick. That's my rapper name. Rick. You're super. Fly Guy is super. Is he one of the super spiritual truths that we're going to be talking about tonight?
Is he a super fly guy?
Probably.
That sounds like a line in a 80s hip hop.
He's a super fly guy. A super fly
Yeah.
guy. He's a super fly guy. He's super fly. Yeah, well, maybe we should go back in history and write that song.
Maybe we should.
Anna Nova, what is your universal symbol? It's this. This is your symbol, Anna Nova. That's it right there. What was happened with your teeth? Well, I went to the dentist and gave him a check, and they're gonna call me and they're gonna have an appointment. And they're gonna pull out my teeth on top and put in a fixed temporary denture, which isn't going to be great, but then some time after that they'll put in the final thing. I don't know how long the whole thing will take, but looks like a marshmallow viper, huh? An airplane angel. What was happened with your teeth?
Oh my gosh, I love you so much. It's crazy. I hate myself right now.
Why do you hate yourself?
Because I can't. I'm like an adoration bucket for you.
That's fine. I'm safe to adore. I You know, it's not gonna backfire on you or anything.
You're not gonna be like, God, you're so annoying. Get over it.
Is Oklahoma better than Ohio? Well, it's a better song. Oklahoma, where the sky ground rushing down the plain, is better than Ohio, Ohio.
Is that the
I don't-
song by Ohio?
I don't know if Ohio has a song.
Ohio. At first I thought it had a song too, but
Yeah, I don't know if Ohio has a song. A gingerbread cookie. Can you win World War III without Adderall? No, I cannot even do hardly anything without it. I got a fair number of things accomplished, at least today. I got the rest of the harvesting done. I got all the plant pulled out of the ground, and I even got the scaffolding taken down. So sometimes Ohio just means strange. Is Bill Clinton an ESFP? And in my opinion, no, I think he's an ENFJ. I think about Bill Clinton. ENFJ, ENFJ, Bill Clinton is an ENFJ. That's what I say. ENFJ. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Time for me to put something in my pipe and smoke it, I think. Well, I had a pot roast bowl, Marie Callender's pot roast bowl earlier to eat, but I feel like I could eat something else. I might make a little sausage over here. Make some sausages. Eat them with my mouth. Those are too many things I'm thinking. Make something to eat and then eat it. That's difficult because Ohio is in North America, which is already a continent. North America is not a continent, Fly Guy. It's an isthmus. The only thing that's a real continent, as far as I know, is Australia. Everything else is like, oh, I'm connected to this other stuff. Well, then you're not a continent. Or like,
connected to you.
like
I told you, I'm really like a gross figure in.
do I like Oppenheimer? Like, as a historical figure or the movie? I've not seen the movie. As a historical figure, sure, he's fine. You know, it took a village to raise a nuclear bomb, okay? It wasn't just Oppenheimer doing everything. I'm just joking, Popovich. Obviously, it's a continent. I'll tell you what's not a continent, though, is Europe. That's not a continent. That's just a part of Asia. We're Europe. We don't want to be a part of Asia. Suck it, Europe. You're not a continent. Just get over it already. Let me get my glasses. Oh, Eric. You never remember things. Of course, darling. Why do they call continental Europe then? Well, simple answer to that, Fly Guy, because that's where they invented continental breakfasts. I don't believe that Pangea ever broke up. I think it's a conspiracy theory. In continental Europe. Eurasia. That's not a real place. Like, who would think that, say, Germany is Asian? Nobody. Greenland, Schmreenland. It's not nearly as big as it looks on the map. Australia is clearly an island. Should not qualify as a continent. Next thing they're going to claim Hawaii as a continent. The North Pole, now that should be a continent. I don't care if there's no land up there. That's where Santa is. Germany is not Syrian, okay? It's Nordic. Excuse me, it's pronounced Hawaii. Oh, Hawaii. I see. Thank you, Ruben, for correcting me. You're right, of course. We just realized yesterday, maybe it was I who realized it, but that our neighbors Kay and Jared are the name of two different ring stores. He went to Jared, and every kiss begins with K. What do you think about that? Do you think they're aware of that? Probably. Oh my God, he went to Jared. That's exactly where I wanted him to buy my ring from. From Jared. No, their last name's not Jeweler. They're called the Jespersons. Kay's been getting pretty worn out. Because every kiss begins with her. It just begins with her. She doesn't have to carry through the whole thing. It's just the first touch of lips, and then somebody subs in for her. Yeah, very N-E-ish last name, right? You want them to be the Jespersons or the Jeffersons or something, but they're the Jespersons. Someone give that woman a break. Well, yeah, it could be worse. It could be every anal gaping begins with K. That would require probably a lot more work from her. Or discomfort, perhaps. I don't think she ever finishes any of them, Ruben. I think when you do that as a job, beginning kisses, you just don't want anything to do with them after that. Thanks, darling. That's because of my kissably baby skin.
But it's the truth, though. Because, like, your kissable baby skin is so kissable. And your skin really is. Your skin is softer than mine.
Well, that's because of my years of devoted usage of oil of Olay.
Yes! I knew that was coming! I was like, oh, oil of Olays in the next sentence. It works.
Oil of Olay. If it was good enough for our grandmothers, it's good enough for us.
Yes. Oh, here we go. You guys ready? It's time for Rockin' Earth. Oh, yeah. Rockin' Earth. Oh, I switched up.
Someday you'll see me down at the lounge by the beach. I'll be singing songs and telling you a story.
A story, a story, a story.
Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was 3 bears and they lived in their home. And then this blonde girl came around and started some trouble. She broke into their house and she sat in the chairs, breaking one of them like she didn't even care. Then she had some porridge and it was pretty good, but she tried all 3 like it was all her food. And then the bears came home, they found her in bed. They mauled her and killed her, and now she's dead.
Oh no.
There you go. You have no problem remembering concepts, it's just the details of your timeline are fuzzy. Well, Ruben, I guess you didn't know this, but it's because you don't have a single timeline. You are floating around past, present, future at any given moment. You never know where you are. So it's not your fault. Or what we call time dislodged. And that would be enough to confuse anybody. I can be a little time dislodged as well. But that's one area where I am thriving right now, Ruben. I am really thriving. You know, some people in Europe where they're experts on this recently wrote a journal article claiming that I am the all-time king of poops now. So that's pretty good. It's hard to describe, but glad to answer whatever I can. The key thing to remember about introverted intuition, like in the dominant slot, probably someone in the tool slot as well, is that, well, like with Rachel, if she hears some map that contradicts her experience, she's going to be flustered and tend to want to believe the map or to understand why the map is wrong. So like, yeah, this happens when she might see some like astrology video or something that says that like we're poorly matched, incompatible, and that there's a lot of giving you the silent treatment, which is something that I never do at all, right? But if she heard that, then she'd be like, do you give me the silent treatment a lot? Mm-hmm. Rather than checking with her own experience, right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference between NI and SI. Is SI people, we can kind of settle into taking things for granted. Well, things have been moving smoothly between us for years now, so why would I ever think that anything's going to go awry? Because I just assume my experience will continue. Eric, what's the most interesting continent to you and why? Well, I'm going to say it's the lost continent of Atlantis. And the reason is because it had magically advanced technology and then it sunk under the ocean. Why? Because they didn't put up good seawalls. Or I'll scan the room and read the situation instead of remembering the status. Yeah, you just re-intuit it, right? Um, and Rachel, you can see it as sort of like simple kinds of memory things sometimes. Like I woke her up the other day and she had forgotten that we had to, where were we? Where were we going?
The dentist, I think.
The dentist?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Was it?
Or was it to get up to go to Los Angeles?
No, it wasn't that. You were up early for that
To
one.
go to the bank with you? Into town? Do we have to go to Oakhurst or something?
I don't know. It's like, remember, we have to. Or maybe it was a dentist. Maybe it was the dentist. I don't know. And she woke up and she was confused about what was going on. But it also shows how for her SI is a insecurity function because then she apologized for not remembering, even though why would she remember? It's my appointment. I'm gonna get her up for it. Trying to team up with an NFJ to remember something. Yeah.
Two NFJs trying to figure out what the person just said.
Yeah.
Like, a person comes into a room, gives directions, and two NFJs are the people who have to do the directions.
Well, I think if somebody came in, said to an INFJ, like, here's an ordinated set of instructions. First, I need you to do this, and then that in that order because of the following things. Then walked out. You'd be like, what?
Oh my god! I'd be like, I don't know what to do right now.
I feel bad for occasion when she's trying to remember something. She'd bring up all these ancillary details. Well, they can sometimes fill in and trigger the rest of the memory to come through. Like, oh, I remember because we listened to Meow on the way there. Then that would help fill in the gaps.
Well, that helps me too. Music triggers me to remember things.
Right, but I think we sort of tested this before that how like when we drive to town, all have a sense of like where exactly on the road we heard every song.
That's true. That is different from me.
So I remember one time in LA, we went down to like the Whippet store, and then we were listening to something, and then it got messed up. I accidentally put it way back in time, right on the video, and so then I was trying to figure out where we were. I kept fast forwarding a bit, and I'd hear it, and I go, no, we were at this corner turning right at that moment when we heard this last, so we heard that. And I'm not trying to remember those things at all. It's just that's SI keeping track of irrelevant experiential details. They're irrelevant. There's no possible need to know exactly where on the street we were when that song came on.
No, but it does make for a nice story because I don't remember it. So you telling me is like it's like new.
Do you think that Joyce Mang is suck in typing people in general? Yeah, I do. But I used to get mad at other people's misinformation more than I do now. I've like just kind of settled into a permanent disgust about it. I've always noticed SI in people since I was a child, and I was like, wow, that's cool. Fortunate for what I have, but it's cool that people can do that. Yeah, when it's absolutely maximized, you get those people who have something autobiographical memory. I forget what the first word in it is. But they can remember, like, you'll say, what happened on September 17th, 1998? And they'll go, oh, well, I went to McDonald's after school with my mom. They're able to remember everything.
Yeah. What is it? Automatic.
It's
It's
like
not just
it's
photograph. It's not just
it's like super autobiographical memory or
yeah,
something.
something like that. It's amazing. But it's also they were saying it's like a blessing but a curse because they literally remember everything.
Right.
So any sort of slight, like if you said one time that uh I don't know, even the small, like a white lie, even like the person was like, "Oh, do I look fat in this shirt?" And you're like, "No, you look great." And then like they feel insecure about it. Like they'll remember that forever.
They'll remember that you said they look great.
Mm-hmm. In that shirt, even though they didn't,
And then they won't believe you, is what you're saying?
they'll always remember that you lied about.
Well, how do they know you lied? Maybe you thought
Okay,
that.
okay, that's true. All right, that's not the baddest example, but still, like anything upsetting. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, for you and me, we remember word mistakes forever, you know? But other people don't necessarily pay that much attention to words because they're not so heavily map oriented.
Sometimes I don't even remember words.
Well,
Except for like
if I said the wrong thing to you, you'd remember it.
sure. But I feel like I do that. I mean, you do that a lot less than I
Right,
do.
because we're both super mappy, and words are a map ultimately. Yeah, those people. I mean, that Uber driver knew every show in the years that came out, and every broadcasting network, who and what, etc. What is the way for when the opposition begins, but you aren't able to recall your original goals? Uh, at that point, you should question why you're in an oppositional engagement at all.
Well,
How you even know it's oppositional if you don't know what your goals are?
so I'm feeling I'm feeling bad vibes. Like not bad vibes, but I'm feeling off. So maybe if you don't mind pulling a card for show media, you can use my phone.
Sure.
So, do you have a specific question, show media? Well, I'll give you a card. Not bad vibes, just like I'm like super needy right now, and
If
like
you're going through dopamine crash.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm super paranoid.
And you always forget to attribute it to that.
Always, yo. Can you pull me some cards? I'm moving to okay. Show media is moving to a new apartment.
A deluxe apartment in the sky high. You're moving on up.
How will it turn out?
So, when I was a kid, I heard that song to saying moving on up to the top, even though it says to the east side. How many cards are we pulling? One?
Come on. No.
The Hanged
Oh
Man.
man, that's like no answer right there. That's a big maybe.
Your spirit guide said you don't get to know in advance this time. You
Uh,
gotta wait.
oh, big
But,
time.
but,
This is a major.
but remember, that's not bad news, good news, just deferred news. So, but then how is it when a new day begins but the old ways are expired? What is there to explain the tendencies of someone you know? Well, there's cognitive functions to explain the tendencies of someone you know. If somebody is married to a way they've always done it, even though the circumstances have changed, you can conclude that they're probably SI over NI, for example. Hitting the bong like Cheech and Chong. I'd like to think I hit it a little better than they do.
I think you do. You're the new man's Cheech and Chong.
I recently won the Nobel Prize for bong rips. Singing a song like Silver Long Dong. I think that there's a lot to be learned from the song My Little Buttercup. I'm really struck by the fact that Randy Newman executed such a brilliant song that sounds like it's from a long time ago.
It does.
And fits perfectly in the role it's going to play in that film. And who would ever have guessed it was by Randy Newman?
Never.
It sounds like a 1920s romantic song, right? Which is, it sounds kind of silly and old fashioned and stuff. But that's how it is with good music, right? When you have a true song, a good song that's been manifest from the ether as in the correct manifestation of its identity, then it's like it's hard to imagine that there was ever a time in the world when such a song didn't exist. What's the thing in socionics I don't like? Well, I don't like the lack of rigor or the lack of case making experience, skill, or knowledge. Is this tarot card reading? I can read you a tarot card if you want. That is not what I normally do, but I could pull a card for you if you want me to. There's some decks over there. Rachel has a number of tarot decks. Like how Israel Kamakawaiwo, old rendition somewhere over the rainbow. I I have no idea even what that means, but um, I guess somebody did a rendition of Over the Rainbow, and they were a Hawaiian singing in Israel somehow. I don't know. It's my opinion on Big Five. I think it's silly nonsense, right? People don't have those attributes to be measured, and it's circular too. It's like if you put in these words, we'll pop out these words. It's also normative, like presumably it's good to be conscientious, for example. But if it's truly an example of your personality, then that means it's aspect of yourself that doesn't change across time. Which means it's just telling you you suck and there's nothing you can do about it. Which is just silly. In reality, personality is not does not comprise attributes that you can measure. It instead comprises habits of paying attention. His name was Israel. Oh. Was he Hawaiian? Somewhere over the rainbow, there's some stuff. Well, thank you, Elsie and Monad. Yeah, it's easy to get into arguments about it. People are foolish in their ways. They're not good thinkers. Okay, so who's getting this card? That guy. What's his name? In the Abyss. All right, In the Abyss. Your first card. Let's see. This one. Let's see what it is. Ooh, the world. You got the world. What does that mean? The world is in your hands. The world is at your fingertips. You can do anything, be everything, and have everything. All at once. It's all yours from now on. It's a pretty good card, so we'll just leave it at that one. It makes me want to do a cover of My Little Buttercup. My little buttercup has the sweetest smile. Gee, little buttercup, Or won't you stay a while? We could get a cottage with a carriage built for two. Oh, my little buttercup, my little buttercup, sweet little buttercup, I love you.
That was really great.
Thanks. It's a really great song. Did I ever want to become a lawyer? Not really. I mean, it would have been a good field for me, but I never really pursued
Did
it.
you like the school though?
I think I would have liked law school a lot. I don't think
Yeah.
I would have liked the actual job very much because it probably would entail too much TESE, you know,
Well, paralegals do a lot of.
the TESE stuff.
Uh-huh. Not the TE. The SE would be a problem because you have to like
File these
basically,
papers by this
4
day.
days you have to go to court, but it's in different courts, and like sometimes more than one day you have to go to like different courts. So it's not the SE is definitely. It might have been like you feeling like you have to rush around everywhere.
Right. I mean, it depends what kind of lawyer you end up being as well. I I I was very pleased with my career as a debate coach. It's like being a lawyer, but in a more fair environment.
There's not. It's not. You're not dealing with the court system.
Right. You're just dealing with the arguments and what are the best arguments and who's won the argument.
Yeah, it's more direct. I knew, although, yeah, because I think the lawyer that I worked with when I was a paralegal was an INFP, and he was really good at the TE part of it, but he hated going to court. That makes sense, right?
Well, he's an introvert, but
Or SE.
but I mean, there's like I would like the part where I actually make arguments in front of a jury, probably. But I don't think I necessarily like the nuts and bolts kind of humdrumminess of,
All the time.
yeah.
They try. A lot of times they try their hardest so that they don't go to like a jury.
Well, certainly the prosecutors do. They're always trying to get everybody to plea. But a good defense attorney should be pushing his client towards a jury trial.
Yeah.
There's a tragedy in the United States as far as the criminal justice system goes, and it's called plea bargaining. And it destroys, in practice, everyone's right to a jury trial because people don't trust what's correct enough and they get bullied into taking plea bargains. Was Da Vinci an ENTP in your opinion? I don't know. He did a lot of different things. He was certainly a polyglot. That's what it's called, right? But it's hard to type somebody who's dead. Is there a STEM field you're interested in? Yeah, I'm really a Christian. I'm just not that kind of Christian. You know, it's like I'm a Christian, and also I don't have any opinion about what you should do with your magical thinking frame. The idea that I would try to convert anybody or something, or tell them this is how you should have your magical thinking frame is insane. Obviously, such a thing is subjective, comprises exactly and only subjective data, and it's making a category error to think your personal experience is going to generalize. There's STEM fields I'm interested in. Well, I mean, I'm kind of casually interested in math. I read articles about math. I watch some YouTube videos about math concepts sometimes and stuff. There's no good argument for God. It's not the sort of thing you make arguments about. Faith is a behavior, not a not a conclusion predicated on assumptions, okay? Do I like formal logic? Sure, I taught logic. I taught symbolic logic, you know, rules of inference, rules of replacement, proofs, truth tables, quantification theory. But yeah, TI is the world of conditionality and and binaries. So TI approaches a word as having a definition that necessarily excludes the following, necessarily includes the following, and may be unclear about other things, right? And the purpose of defining things is to nail down precisely what someone means so that we can test it for correctness. In contrast, FI is not about defining terms to limit their meaning. It's about expressing oneself. And FI is contradiction proof. No, I became Christian when I quit drinking at age 42. I'm 54 now. It wasn't right away at 42, but I became Christian, and in that through that process, in the early years of that process. Yeah, I watched JoJo. I watched pretty much all the JoJos. I was raised as an atheist by atheist parents. My dad was very anti-religion. He'd read those ridiculously sanctimonious, like Richard Dawkins books and stuff. I remember the long, bushy beard dude. You talking about me? Is JoJo's greater in Edom, in my opinion? And if yes, why? Um, I don't really know. Certainly, he's not writing characters that are using a lot of extroverted intuition. Yeah, well, I cut my hair the other day. I went with the clippers all around my head and beard and made myself look a little more presentable. I'm not sure what motivated me to do that, but so what's going on with Tim and Tom? What am I going to do with me and you? How am I going to know what to and fro? The really old videos. Well, throughout my videos, throughout the history of my videos, from the really old ones to the contemporary ones, my beard and hair length grows, gets cut back, grows, gets cut back, you know. So you'll see me in various hair lengths throughout the whole history of the channel because before COVID, I would get my hair cut every month or two. And since COVID, I've cut my own hair every couple of months. Yeah. Thank you. When did you start to lose your hair? I don't even really remember when I started to lose my hair because I don't think I really was ever paying much attention to it.
Oh, you're so lucky.
I never felt insecure about receding hairline or anything. It just never bothered me.
That's good. That's really good. My mom had before I forget, my mom had a suggestion for Thanksgiving for us.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, she said that we should go get like a butterball turkey, get a packet of Lipton onion soup mix, put the butterball turkey with some water in the crock pot, and that's our Thanksgiving dinner.
No.
Okay.
No. We're not cooking a turkey in the crock pot. I'll cook a turkey in the oven.
Okay.
Why would we cook a turkey in the crock pot?
Because that's how she did it.
I guess she's saying it's easier in some way.
Mm.
Yeah, well, I was in two different garages in the Abyss. I was in my garage in Temple City. Even after my second wife and I separated and she moved away, I, I guess I moved back into the house at some point after that. I did move back into the house. I was gonna say I stayed in the garage, but I did stay in the garage for a while. Then I moved back. How to find your interview when you were in high school? I usually channel search 17. Let's see if I can find it for you. Here it is.
Putting on the parties is to give us a call, give us their phone number, so if we receive any complaints.
Here you go. Of course, I could just show it here. We go to the part where.
More than once to break up your party. Now you've heard the police's opinion of the new law and
Alright,
lawfully enacted.
so here it is. Turn this up.
And we wanted to find out what students at Arcadia High thought. So with me I have Eric Strauss, Jeremiah Carroll, Buffy Yant, Sam Matranga, and Rita Gatto. And Eric, what is your opinion of the new law?
Well, the First Amendment of the Constitution guarantees essentially that people have the right to peacefully assemble, and a party should be considered a peaceful assembly unless there is injury being given to other human beings. And most
You
parties
haven't
don't have the
aged
case,
a
so
bit.
the law is pretty much, I think, unconstitutional and should be abolished.
Okay, and Jeremiah, what do you...
You are correct, Eric.
It sounds, I mean, like you are you.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the interview of me when I was 17 on Apache News.
It's great.
Thanks. Because our high school was so interesting that the Apache Indian tribe came and made news about us.
Wow.
But someone was the same as they were before. How can a group become separated without interpretations? Or is it a result of bi-curious suggestions or something deeper? I don't know what you're talking about exactly. If someone was the same as they were before, how can a group become separated without interpretations? I don't know what that means. I mean, I'm assuming they told us the topic in advance, and I thought about my answer before I said it a little bit. I don't remember, but yeah, that's the exact same soul, right? That's personality theory in a nutshell. Why was that? Why am I the same guy at 17 as I am now, in in such substantial ways? And the answer is, well, my attentional habits haven't changed. I'm still NETI. I was a bold head of hair. That head of hair could stand up in line against anyone's head of hair, and you'd say, "Hey, well, that's a full head of hair right there."
Your head of hair now.
I'm not sure I liked my haircut back then.
Well, it is very 80s.
It was a little bit of an iffy haircut.
But that was the style back then.
I guess it was, I don't really know if it was his
Feathered.
style or not, but Eric's eyes look down to recall his answer, and he's mostly firing it off, I think. Yeah, because, I mean, I had experience doing speech and debate tournaments all the time with impromptu speaking or whatever. They give you a topic, and I think about it for a second, have a plan of attack, go up and just rattle it off. The 80s were great. Well, they had their cool parts and they had their not so cool parts. It's weird to think back to a time when there wasn't any internet. It's changed everything so much for everybody. The world without it was definitely poorer. There's some kind of cool stuff about not constantly being accessible to everybody, like in the olden days when you left the house, it was assumed nobody was going to be able to get in touch with you till you got back. I think musically the decade has actually aged pretty well. You only look down once, so it's like you just need to remember the logic behind it and then start talking. Yeah, probably the case. Uh, I'd like to think I'd answer it a little bit better right now than I did then, but I still give basically the same answer. And indeed, that is the best answer. Freedom of assembly means that law where you're supposed to call the cops and alert them to the fact that you're having a party before you have it is clearly unconstitutional. I didn't have any notes written down. I didn't use notes. And the thing is, maybe my very best event was actually impromptu speaking. It wasn't even debate, although I was a good debater. But impromptu speaking was a perfect event for me because I never felt intimidated by the moment for a second, right? It was like, you give you 3 topics, you choose one. And you can write notes on a note card and take it up with you if you want to, but I never did. I just went up there and up and started making jokes. Some of my happiest memories from speech and debate are successful impromptu rounds where I had everybody in the room rolling, But I didn't always do humorous stuff. Depending on the topic, I would take it, just deal with it seriously. But it's like I was born to do that. I was born to do that event. I'm still doing that event right now. As we're talking, I'm doing that event. I'm speaking. I'm impromptu speaking without any preparation on whatever topic happens to be thrown my way. Or in the absence of any topics being thrown my way, I'll just blather on indefinitely. Of course, I don't particularly feel so inclined to do that these days when I'm not on Adderall. But, I'm on a safe and sane amount of Adderall, a sensible amount. It's kind of just bringing me back to what I normally was more when I was younger. Obviously, you kind of wear out your brain's chemical receptor mechanics and stuff when you take speed for a lot of years. So I think I'm probably less capable of putting a handle on shit when I'm not on Adderall now than I used to be. But maybe I'm just being pusillanimous and letting myself be lazy too. So I don't know. Pusillanimous and lazy. Those are my two character traits. I'm pusillanimous and lazy. That's my personality. Great. Do I think Adderall changes
I love
personality?
you so much. I just want to eat you up.
Thanks, darling.
You're welcome.
No, I don't think Adderall changes your personality. It does make you roll through life differently. So you could say it changes my expression of personality because it makes me more likely to extrovertedly sense for longer stretches of time. But that would be somewhat misleading because I don't actually persist in that state of extroverted sensing for very long into a bottle of Adderall, at which point, instead of extrovertedly sensing, I'm extrovertedly intuiting like I am now, having many long hour live streams. So it's just making me more me. Toasting a bagel? Who's going to do a bagel? We don't have any bagels. Thanks for making me jealous. So, I mean, it does impact your brain chemistry when you, or like the day after taking some, for Rachel, the day after she takes it, or like tonight is an example of some symptoms of her going into dopamine crash. And tomorrow she'll have the backlash from the extra energy and dopamine from the Adderall. She will experience the backlash of it, which is to say, there'll be a dopamine gap or deficit, and so that never feels very good. It doesn't feel good when I go through it. Rachel doesn't feel good when she goes through it. It's tough to remember this is just a chemical deficit. It's not representative of any actual problems, etc. You could procrastination, just put it off. It's a good idea, Fly Guy. If you put off procrastinating, that means you'll get it done right now. And then you just do it by default because you're too lazy to put it off. How do you deal with it? $29.97. Well, I don't think I do deal with it $29.97. I'd say I deal with it, I don't know, $15.83. What's the worst way you discovered an undoubtedly odd method of allowing revelations regarding discourse among other individuals in a timely way? What's the worst way you discovered a method that allows me to explain things about discourse to others? I don't think I've found that trick yet. There are some people who want to ask me questions and take advantage of my specialized knowledge about certain things. But by and large, unless they are initiating that question asking, in other words, unless they come to me seeking information, people will not learn a goddamn thing. I'll just keep the money. Show me you. I think you misunderstood my question. Wow. That's very possible because your question was strangely worded. What do you think of Trump? I think he's unpredictably volatile He has the unpredictable volatility and arbitrariness of an idiot who's filling the role of the chief executive. No, Elon Musk is not an INTP. He's probably an ENTJ. Black guy, that's an excellent impression. Has anyone ever thought of doing ever what to do so look more like? Did you guys know that Elon Musk was actually the first person who visited the moon? He was one of the first Russian cosmonauts. ENTJ, why do you think that? Well, good TE, good NI, good SE. So, terrible NE, but demonstrative. Not that people who are ENTJs have terrible NE necessarily, but like when he comes up with random ideas for shit, they're just, it's like, oh.
Like his
Your
name for
six
his
slot
child.
extroverted intuition is stinky. Yeah, like his name for his child, AEIOU or whatever. Bill Gates. Bill Gates is maybe an ISTP. I don't know. I'm not sure about Bill Gates.
I think I'm gonna go to bread.
All right, you go to bread. I'm gonna go to bread pretty soon myself. I think before you go in there, I'll grab an olanzapine.
Mm-hmm.
Take that along with some gabapentin and some Benadryl and see if it knocks me out. Well, the best way to know is to get typed by me. If you wanted to, if you're asking me like what kind of questions, how would you respond to them? The first thing you'd have is you test positive for extroverted intuition polar. It's not a super definitive test that I can explain to other people. If you get exactly this result, it's extroverted intuition polar. But if I were to ask you to come up with some names for my new invention, which is a sombrero that's fit to a cat, so the cat can wear a sombrero that also has a bird attracting rod that emits bird attracting rays. How many good names for my new invention, marketing names, can you come up with for it? I'll pull a tarot or two. Oh, I pulled one already. I pulled him one. He got the world. You want one, Fly Guy? Very well. Let's see what your feminist tarot card is.
Those are our most magical cards.
Yeah. We got these on our trip to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I surprised Rachel with these. I bought them in secret when she wasn't
Yeah.
looking.
That's a great gift.
Thanks, Charlie. Okay, Fly Guy. Let's see. And then the second thing you'd look for if you were an ISTP is you'd be good, very good at the TI stuff. The TI questions, the logic questions and such. Here you go, Fly Guy. You got the 7 of Cups. So basically, you're like a naked lady with a fountain spewing green stuff out of her head. Which I've always thought about you. cooking up some industrial beats in Ableton, huh? I see. What makes them industrial? Do they contain the sounds of industry? Like hammers hitting stuff?
Is it called Ableton because it's an able town?
It's not a town, but that might be why it's called Ableton anyway. In the Abyss, was it hard to think of names for the invention Eric described? Yep. If you like came up with like one name, then you just might be extroverted intuition polar.
What does your intuition say, Fly Guy? Are cups good?
I call it perhaps Mexican kitty hunting cap. Or sombrero 1, bird 0. You could call it the shade and lure. You get some shade and you lure in the birds. You call it bird rod caliente. You could simply call it aviator death.
Oh no!
That's a good one. DDT in a hat. I'll show you a silent spring. The stoke and poke. Don't mind me, Birdie. I'm just a Mexican. The sombrero says fiesta, but the intent is murder. So you may be on to something with ISTP, but I agree getting tested by Eric is the best way to know your type and understand why that type and not others. Skinny Puppy, Throbbing Gristle, Frontline Assembly, Ministry, Front 242. Those are industrial bands. I bet almost none of the people in any of those bands has any experience in industry. Ruben R., did you already get a card? I'm giving you one now. You're getting one. Getting a non-consensual card. Empress, number 11. You're like a naked lady lying down with her leopard print dress on, and there'd be like other things around you. You're like a little dog. You are the Empress, Ruben.
You're
the Queen of
my
Queens.
Empress. I love you.
I love you too, darling. So you got a little dog thing or a cow or something. I'm not sure. Like, what are these gray things? What is that?
It's like a statue.
A statue? And then what's this other one over here? What's this one? Another statue?
Another statue. It's like out of rock or something.
For a fertility goddess?
Yeah.
Well, you even look at Ruben the wrong way and he's pregnant. So that's an appropriate card.
That's what your mom said.
My mom did say that.
No, I was saying the Fly Guy. That's what his mom said.
Who else wants a card now?
I'll
Oh,
take a card now.
okay, Rachel, here's a card now. All right. I want you to choose between this one and this one. Which one do you want?
This one.
The 9 of discs.
Ooh, whoa, I'm doing stuff.
Yep, you're like a Native American trader at the trading goods store.
I mean, I do have a lot of stuff.
You've woven all these circles, and now you're selling them to tourists.
That's so me.
Thanks, in the abyss. I got them at the supermarket. Would you consider the ethical implications of accidentally complimenting someone's existential crisis if it improved the group dynamic? Complimenting someone's existential crisis?
It's
Like-
looking good on you.
Like, hey, I'm really liking your panic attack right now. The other one was 6 of discs. Complicating someone's existential crisis if it improved the group dynamic? Well, no, it's just a basic utilitarian question. It's never okay to do someone wrong because you think it's good for the group. It may incidentally be good for the group for you to say punish somebody, but that can't be why they're punished. They need to be punished because they broke the law and violated someone's rights, and there's an equilibrium that needs to be restored through retributive justice. You meant complimenting? Like, hey, that's a great panic attack. I really like it. That's not going to do anything if somebody's having a genuine panic attack, right? They're just going to ignore you, or you're unlikely to. I mean, but as with any kind of utilitarian thing, no, you can't justify what would otherwise be bad behavior because you believe it's going to have good impacts. Is FE really group harmony function? Sort of. I mean, people who are FE front stack, probably even fourth, are kind of defaulting towards, I'm a team player, I'm not going to be the one who's fussy, which is an FE frame of reference. Does that mean harmony? Not necessarily. It just means that you understand yourself and others to have this responsibility to at least try to be a team player and not needlessly cause problems. Have you ever reconsidered the consequences of comparing industry premonitions? Even though people generally don't understand the core reality of self-imposed tarnation. Yeah, I have. And what I discovered is that I was asking what incarnation, but nobody's answering it. What is incarnation? Well, like the name suggests, it's half tar, half nation state. Right. Harmony is one spell you can cast if you spec into FE. It's not the only way of using extroverted feeling, right? An extroverted feeler has a conscious frame of reference that the judgment of third parties will ultimately be determinant on how a given thing plays out. It's not actually the case necessarily at all, but that's the assumption in the frame of reference. No water nearby, so I guess I'm washing my meds down with strong hard cider. Dig a well so you can have water at your house. Just get a shovel, dig straight down until you reach water. If you don't know how to do it, maybe the high priestess can assist you with her magic shamanhood. Don't swallow me dry. Do I believe in reincarnation? I mean, I no, but I don't know what happens after we die. It could be one of the various things that people have speculated might happen after we die. Or it could be something that totally surprises us. Who knows? Could be just you dead and that's it, and you just have eternal blackness. Not the race. I'm somewhere between an agnostic and a deist. So what? Like sometimes you believe in God and sometimes you're like, nah. Well, I don't know. Sometimes you're like, I don't know. And sometimes you're like, I do know. You're somewhere between an agnostic and a dentist? Those are in different categories, Guild. And the reason we know this in part is that someone can be both a dentist and an agnostic, and can be a dentist and not an agnostic. So clearly, you're thinking about dentistry all wrong. Did you think it means people who aren't sure if their teeth exist? This guy isn't making any sense, lol. No, I'm making jokes some of the time. They do make sense, but that requires you to have a sense of humor. If you don't, then you'll be confused. I mean, I don't know for certain, but I lean towards there being something, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay. Well. Hey, Gil. Let me tell you about a guy who's pretty cool. His name is Jesus. Have you thought about that, Gil? You thought about Jesus, maybe? You heathen! Don't you know you're going to hell? Not Jesus. Jesus Christ, it makes me say. How can you not Jesus? You're doing it wrong. Here, you know what? Good news. I'm doing it right. Let me show you how. God don't make no clocks, Winston's mom. Okay? He made people. People made clocks. God doesn't need clocks. He's so powerful, he always knows what time it is. In every time zone. Deism is the belief that the letter D is more important than other letters. And that if it weren't for the letter D, the apocalypse would happen. All of a sudden, right now. What's going on? Somebody didn't capitalize the D. Now the horsemen of the apocalypse are coming. Oh, do you need to capitalize the D in the word drain? It was the beginning of the sentence. Drain the bathtub. Was the sentence. It was a command. Oh, I guess you do need to capitalize the D. But it was capital D disrespectful of them not to. Hence, according to my religion, the world will come to an end. In retribution for their disrespect. All right, there we go. Unless God is just inside you? You mean like, is he humping my butt? I don't think so. Unless he's doing it real gentle and I'm just not noticing it. I can't even remember the spiritual beliefs I came up with when I was manic, but that's when I did the most esoteric thinking involving reality and mysticism. The watchmaker argument by William Paley uses a watch as an analogy to show the cosmos' complexity points to a designer god. Like if you asked him what time is it in X, where X is any coordinates of any location on Earth, he would know the correct time zone for those coordinates. Right. He'd know the correct time zone and the actual time. You should have written it down so you could see what nonsense it was when you could read it with a clear head. Fly Guy makes a compelling point on what Eric looked like in his school days if we could talk about character. If we talk about character, I mean, I was less moral when I was younger, more amoral. I was like every teenager just about. Not all of them, but like a lot of them, which is to say, I was reckless, concerned with unimportant things at the expense of important things. When you pray to him, this is how I always start my prayers. God, it is currently 11:35 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm sorry if I'm just filling you in on something you already know and wasting your time, but just in case you wanted a quick reference point so you didn't have to know it yourself, I thought I'd just share the time with you. Now let me get on with my prayer. This is so you can log it accurately. I'm assuming you keep a logbook of these things. Drugs did me dirty, but I was dirty for drugs. I had to have more. They were better than hugs. But they made me go crazy. Now I take a bunch and farm, and my pills outnumber my arms. Yeah, but God wouldn't even have to count backwards. He just knows, like, bam, converted. He can convert Fahrenheit to Celsius instantly. Even though you have to multiply by 9/16 and add 32. At one point in time, I believed God was a lighthouse, and hell was merely what happened when you got lost in the currents. God is a lighthouse. He can look at a hot meal and tell you exactly what it would taste like cold. If he gets mad at you, sometimes you'll pull a super hot meal out of the microwave and it's steamy, you blow it, you come put it down here, and God's like, you sinned earlier, you're getting punished, and then you turn to look at it, and all of a sudden your meal is all lukewarm. You're like, how did it get cold so fast? Or God punished me the other day. Somehow, some way, for whatever reason, it had to be God because I didn't know how else this possibly could have happened. My car adapter that changes from USB-C to aux cable so that I can play things through the aux channel of the stereo. I went in and it was not there. It had been replaced with just an aux cable. I was like, what? When did this happen? How did this happen? What? It's inconceivable that somebody would have snuck into my car, taken my adapter, and replaced it with an aux cable. Were you talkative in your school days? Yes. In a lot of ways, I was more talkative than I am now, except for the live stream. It's because, that aux cable existed before. Yes. That's the aux cable that I used to use when I had a phone that had an aux outlet. Output. Out. an aux out. It had an aux hole you plugged an aux cable into. Okay, that eliminates it being a silly thief in a silly mood. That would be a strange thief indeed. Eric, will you do the chicken dance for us? No, show media, I will not. I don't want a chicken and I don't want to dance. I'm just gonna kick in and starting to prance. Didn't you just take the Mini Cooper into the shop? I'm not sure how long ago it happened, actually, Winston's mom. I'm not sure. You know what? When I took it into the shop, I just was standing next to the car in the parking lot in the parking space where I parked it, and the guy just came to my car and just did it right there. So, I didn't even leave it with the mechanic. It only took like 5 minutes, and it cost me the part plus a little bit of labor, a total of $54 or something. That would maybe be an ENFJ, because if I were a thief, I could definitely see myself throwing a curveball like that just to enjoy thinking back on it later and imagining what the person might have thought. Well, it's a good trick because it confuses the person. They don't know if something really got stolen or not. They think like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would somebody steal that weird, dumb little adapter? It's, the only possible person who have any reason to steal it would be somebody who has the same kind of phone, USB-C to aux cable, because otherwise it's not an expensive adapter. It costs like $10. It's a fucked up crime over time. Or it could be, you're giving a little thrill to the people. They think the ghost has something to do with it or whatever, and they get to feel like, ooh, paranormal. You just maybe gave a little magic into their life. Have you gotten your vitamin D levels checked? No, show media. I have not. Why? Because I'm not a deist. I don't worship vitamin D. I think that's a false idol. Imagine Eric was tatted up like crazy. That's not going to happen. I'm not a believer in tattoos. Could it have come disconnected and dropped onto the floor and then got kicked under the seat? I looked so much under the seats and everywhere around, so much. I must have brought it inside for some reason. Is the only thing I can think. And then because that hole was now empty, I decided to plug that old cable in there or something. I don't know. But I can only think of a couple conceivable interfaces where I would need to use that inside the house. And I don't think I've ever interfaced in that way. Like if I wanted to play my phone, I mean, it still wouldn't work. I'd need a aux into 1/4 inch out to interface it. Yeah, thank you, Fly Guy. That's a good observation. Someone in that same treatment center told me that others had seen her. She was a nurse-like figure. Oh, it was a ghost, but it was probably a hallucination. Yeah, well, my neighbor was telling me about paranormal stuff, and he was saying how he was one time in Altadena, and there was a guy who could shapeshift into a wolf. And then all these wolves came around the house and started like yapping at him and stuff. And then he revealed that he was tripping balls, but he is convinced still that it was not the acid. My meds were being adjusted, but also others had seen a similar figure. A lady in white, with her ghost-like ways, prancing through the hospital floors. It would probably be best if everyone was ISFJ and worst if everyone was ENTJ. I mean, the Earth would be very high achieving, one imagines, if everyone was ENTJ. And if everyone was ISFJ, then there'd be no TE and we'd all be in trouble. I one time typed a nurse who worked in, like, who worked with people who were gonna die soon, like hospice or terminal patients and stuff. And she said, and even though she was not herself inclined towards believing in ghosts or anything or paranormal, she said that it had happened on a number of occasions that when the moment somebody passed, the TV got all like crackly and messed up for some stretch of time, and that it happened too much to be a coincidence, according to her. But also, she didn't really believe any specific explanation for it. Candle sales would be higher if what? If we didn't have electric lights? You're right. In the old days, people used a lot more candles than we do nowadays. Nowadays, we use candles even though we don't need to use candles. And sometimes it's because we want to make our house smell terrible. And sometimes it's because we want to have romantic, cozy seeming lights or something. Have you ever experienced malfunction in electronic equipment while on psychedelics? Not that I recall. I've experienced my own incompetence with making things work when I'm on mushrooms. Like, if I have to figure out how to do something or how something works and I'm on mushrooms, forget about it. We just opened the windows when folks died. I'm about letting the soul go somewhere. Well, if you let it outside, then you never know where it's going to go. A soul is like a cooped up dog. Once it gets out, it wants to run, you know. My friend's laptop was haunted. It started talking while he was playing a game. It was freaky. What did it say? You're playing really well. I've not had any kind of paranormal experiences on psychedelics. I don't really like. I mean, I sure I could if I went a little larger. If I could get acid, for example, I'm sure I could trip out plenty hard. But with the amount of mushrooms I take, I don't get a whole lot of visuals particularly. I get the normal standard mushroom, like crispy, things look crispy and stuff. Couldn't understand it exactly. I assumed it was radio interference or something. What is my heart enneagram type? That would be 4. My head is 7. My body is 8. Yep. I'm a 7-8-4 tri-type. Sometimes called, I think it's like the curse surfer. Happened in February of 22. Your ghost experience? Well, I would like to engage with ghosts because, they're so out of the ordinary that it would be interesting to engage with ghosts. I want to know all about them. What do you got going on, ghost? Can you talk a little bit more? Can you convey information better? Because currently, I'm loving your classic ghost shape and semi-transparent white filminess, but we're not really talking to each other. My mom used to say she saw a ghost walk through a staircase. I don't know, am I 8 or 9 or even 1? Who knows? Well, how do you respond to anger? Do you respond with anger, teasing the angry person, or do you respond by saying, if you're going to be angry, you can come talk to me later? Gail says, during my last mushroom trip, my Discord was glitching out, as was all of my muse. All my technology, my guitar being weird, my computer was too. I typed in the words you said she said, and 2 Reddit posts popped up on the subreddit Psychosis and on the one on the subreddit Shamanic, both asking if anybody else had seen her and heard her say those words. Who? What did she say? I'm leaving what I take home. I'm leaving what I take home? I used to post a lot about my experiences on my old Reddit account. I can't touch electronics on shrooms or look at computer screens. Was it near a retrograde? In other words, was Mercury in retrograde? Because that tends to mess up your electronics, according to the astrology people. I can feel the death in you. You have no soul. Okay, but I heard you tell me what personality type I am, Eric. You're dead inside. That's what you are. Like the Grim Reaper. As cold and dead as a 3-day-old fish lying on a pile of snow. I won't be able to sleep till you're next to me. You probably won't be able to sleep even when I am next to you. And if I want to sleep, I should probably take in the olanzapine. Yeah. See how people like that type of experience. Okay, well, hi, thanks for getting a typing session. I've decided to switch it up. I'm going to do some big 5 typing and some holistic typing of you. So first of all, I'd say you're really neurotic and not conscientious. You're disagreeable. You're a shy boy introvert. And for God's sake, could you be a little more open? Next, you are Pisces. And everybody knows that Pisces suck and they stink like fish. You stink like fish. I can't smell you, fortunately. Wait, but you haven't even asked me any questions. I'm just getting started with you. It was another apparition around the time with the nurse. Only twice I've had full apparitions. We're not supposed to intensify Gail's experiences. Full apparitions? That's the biggest kind of apparition. That's twice as scary as a partial apparition. Watery. Are you feeling watery? Well, remember, the human body is 99.9% water. A lot of people don't know this, but even your bones are made entirely of water. Most of my hallucinations are purely auditory and sound like they're coming from my eardrums, and anything visual is on the back of my eyelids. You can't see the back of your eyelids, because listen, when they're in position to see, that means your eyes are closed. You don't even know how your body works. Yes, he has exploding head syndrome. It doesn't mean his head literally explodes, but that it might at any moment. All right, so I should take a. This is a clip. This is a clip. No, I guess it's not. I don't think you did it right. You did it wrong, dog. You didn't clip what you thought you clipped. Dog. See? Now you're making me do that with my tongue. I can feel the death in you. You have no soul. Okay, but I heard you tell me what personality type I am, Eric. You're dead inside, that's what you are. I can feel. That's a good one. I wish that there was some easy way to just say, publish this as a short. You know? But there's not a good way to do that. I don't even know how to begin doing that. Info. Got it. I know that, but how old Spacey is? I don't know how old he is. He was in his late 20s when, about 5 or 6 years ago. What is 132 minus 75? 132 minus 75? Well, let's see. Minus 32 from 75 is 43. So then minus 43 from 100 is 57. 57 is the answer. Taurus Moon, Virgo Rising. Gemini Sun, Taurus Moon, Virgo Rising. Well, I also have a sun and a moon, but I have a second moon as well, unlike a lot of people. And I have a rising faster, and a rising fastest. So I got a lot of stuff going on astrologically. They said instead of being under a specific constellation, I get to pick and choose a few stars from each constellation. So that's pretty cool. And, you know, I've also got great numerology. I'm all the best numbers for all the best reasons. My life path is a master number. It's 22. Because I'm a master of things. And my other numbers are great too. Okay. Is Delilah my only children? Yes, she is. I have one child and her name is Delilah. She's a wonderful child indeed. No, I have no love children that I know about. I don't think it's even conceivably possible, really. But I suppose some nefarious person could have collected some of my cum and squirted it up in the badge and gotten pregnant with some baby. It's possible. Wow. I must have pneumonia with all that coughing. No other possible explanation for what made me cough. Is Gemini the villain of the zodiac? Yeah, you know the old saying, Fly Guy, never trust the Gemini. Oh, you're Gemini? Can you please leave before you start stealing my stuff? You filthy thief. Geminis. They're all a bunch of filthy thieves. Last time I let a Gemini come into the house to get a glass of water, I walked out of the room. When I came back in, they had stolen half of my stuff. The other day, a Gemini came up and tried to pick my pocket. I said, hey, that's my wallet. And they're like, I'm sorry, I'm a Gemini. I can't help it. Like, get out of here, filthy Gemini. So, you know. Google Gemini is fine. Gemini got my cord. But, you know, at least they smell better than those filthy Pisces. They stink like 3-day-old fish, I tell you. Just like their name. That's why they're called Pisces. Not that Cancer smells much better. Again, you got that rotting seafood odor from those people. No, that smells bad because I smell like shellfish. You still stink like the sea. Now, I got some good news for you. Fortunately, Capricorns, the sea goat, they don't smell like the sea, they smell like goats. And it's a pretty pleasant smell. Goats aren't bad smelling creatures. How student you were, Eric? I was fine. I was adequate. I was an adequate student. I was a terrible student, but smart enough to shuffle and jive my way through. Yes, the sea stinks. What do you think the ocean is? It's just a giant, filthy aquarium full of fish poop. You don't even have those cleaner fish in the ocean to clean it up. So the ocean is obviously the stinkiest thing. The forest is the best smelling thing. That's why they make air freshener from the forest and only stink freshener for the sea. It doesn't even work. It just ends up being more stink. What's the most useless body part? I'm going to say your shoulder blades. When's the last time you've used your shoulder blades for anything? If you thought, well, maybe one day I'll use them to cut something, since they're blades, I've got some news for you. Your shoulder blades are some of the dullest blades you're ever going to find. Tonsils. My tonsils are critical to many different things. Fly Guy. My tonsils are what gives my voice this rich, rich resonance. Tissue connecting the hemispheres of the brain. Adenoids. My adenoids and my tonsils are both critical. I don't have an appendix anymore. That's why I can tell you just how important it actually is. I know what it's like to miss your appendix, as I do every day. I get up and say, God, I wish they had left my appendix in. I am no longer successfully extracting bits of sand and stuff from the food that I'm eating. Yeah, they're called shoulder blades, but they can't cut anything. Maybe when you're an infant, your blades are still sharp enough to cut things. But that's why a lot of women get wounded during childbirth, injured, because of the sharp blades of their newborn shoulders. But as you get older, your blade's dull. Yeah, that's a compliment anybody could appreciate. Hey, nice blades. What? Your shoulder blades. They're looking good today. Wisdom teeth. How useful for wisdom are they really? Good question, Winston's mom. And the answer is they are a critical precondition to wisdom. You can't be wise until your wisdom teeth have come in. Prior to that, you're too young to qualify for wisdom, no matter how wise a thing you know or say or do is. Belly button. Your belly button is not a part of your body any more than the hole of a donut is part of the donut. The uvula, I think I'm going to classify uvula in there with tonsils and adenoids as really important things because of my voice. Delilah told us kind of a horror story about getting her wisdom teeth taken out. Apparently, she went to this shitty place that did a shitty job, and etc. I remember when they took out my wisdom teeth, it wasn't that big of a deal. I don't remember if they took out all four or whatever. I hate memorizing things, how to learn something like history school subject. Well, I mean, how much do you have to memorize it? Like, if it's a whole bunch of specific detailed facts and such, then that's unfortunate, but hopefully you could read the thing and retain the most salient details, or at least recall them when a test prompts you to do so. Eric asks a pretty good NI question that may help you figure out if it's polar release. Do you know which one I'm talking about with the condensing a long sentence down? Right. Yeah, so I'll give somebody a long sentence with a lot of redundancies in it and maybe some additional details that could be left out but are distinct. I can do this, but it is boring. You can do what? The NI thing? Okay, well, I mean, it's boring. It's an assessment, right? It's not. None of the assessments are supposed to be exciting exactly. They're supposed to be tools you use to determine things. Make it fun by studying with a friend and testing each other. That'll never work, Fly Guy. You give terrible advice. Just read it a couple of times, a little bit, read it once, and then skim it a second time, and just hope you remember it. That's it. That's what you got to do. That's it. That's all you can do. Just don't. If you have to like write shit down on note cards and like memorize shit, then just be okay with failing, because that's just pointless. There's no reason for anybody to do that. We have all that information at our fingertips at any moment. You've got to be able to use what you have read for some actual purpose. So if you're reading productively, you might find arguments that make for analogs to some other kinds of arguments you then turn to later on and say, well, it's like this thing. You know how Same thing here. Oh, memorizing is boring. Not the NI polar test. I see. Write the dates you need to remember on a small piece of paper. Put those pieces of paper in a bucket. Cover yourself in oil. Then roll in the mud while showering in the piece of paper. That won't help. That's a lot of rigmarole for no good purpose. Okay. I need to eat a little bit more food tonight. After I eat a little more food, or maybe before I eat a little more food, but while it's getting ready, I think I'll take an olanzapine and hope to start getting a little bit tired. I'd like to get a good night's sleep tonight. Will I be able to? We'll find out, I guess. Well, I'll find out. You won't be there, but I'll let you know later on whether I did or not. Because this won't be the last stream of my life, believe it or not. Okay. What do I want to eat right now? What do I want to eat? I think I'm going to have a pizza log. Rachel, would you like a pizza log? So I turned the oven on to 400, but it doesn't instantly get to 400 degrees. You have to wait for it to get hot. How does it get hot? Well, it uses a little something called fire. Fire is hotter than not fire. And it's going to turn the whole inside of the oven a toasty 400 degrees. Hot enough to cook pizza logs. That's how hot 400 degrees is. So let's see if Rachel's still awake even. Right. Now you've had a lot of carbs already. Okay, well. I guess I'll put one of them back in the box. I guess I'll put it in a. I don't want two of them, I don't think. I'll put one of them in a Ziploc bag. It does fit in the Ziploc bag, though barely. Alright, there. We put this in a Ziploc bag and it can go back in the freezer. Fly Guy notes that he used to have warm milk at bedtime as a child to help go to sleep. What he's not telling you is that he'd drink it from his mother's breast. Me too, says Health Nut 27. Now I just take sleeping meds. It is a perfectly sized bag. It's a good observation, Carrot. Okay. This, we need to wait until this 7 minutes is up. That's when the oven will have reached the proper temperature. In the meantime, I may consider another dish, like a side dish of some kind. But I'm out of coffee. I don't want to drink more coffee. And I do want to get an olanzapine to help put me to sleep tonight. So I think I will get a I'll get an edge. Keep your edge with Coors Edge. All the edginess, but none of the alcohol. That's why my username is popping up as Eliana Diaz. Oh, because they did that. YouTube did that to everybody's names. They're like, made you say like the source name underneath it or something. I don't really know exactly, but they said, screw you in the name you want. You'll take the name we give you. You're not Eric Strauss, you're Eric Strauss 4924. If you truly want all the spiritual super truths, please hit the like button. If you already know all the spiritual super truths, also please hit the like button. And thanks is the superest truth of all. Thanks, Winston's mom, for that great speech. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was neck and neck with the Gettysburg Address. All right. Let's go get a Lindsay. Oh, let's go get a Lindsay. Let's go get a Lindsay right now. Okay. So I've generally been laying off Rachel's segments pretty good of late, but I really want to sleep tonight. I think I can make it happen with a combination of olanzapine, Benadryl, that's how we pronounce it in California, Benadryl. I've heard other people pronounce it a different way, but so we've got olanzapine, Benadryl, and we'll get gabapentin in the other room. And then the hope is that the combination of these three team members working together for the common good will help Eric sleep soundly for once, instead of like a big jerk. You're gonna pop melatonin. Oh, so you like to use the placebo effect to sleep. Melatonin, a wonder drug that puts the placebo effect to work for you. Nobody's made tired by melatonin. That's just an urban legend. Oh yeah, if you get more sunshine, you sleep better. Same thing, it's just an old wives' tale. Same old wives would say, you got too many moonbeams on you. That's why you couldn't sleep well. Because people have long believed that too many moonbeams was one of the leading causes of insomnia. And the only reason they thought that was because insomnia was happening at night. The only reason insomnia was happening at night is because that's when people were trying to sleep. Yeah? See what I'm saying? People being reckless in their conclusion drawing. Gosh darn you, childproof thing. I am so done with you being childproof. Because you're more than just childproof, you know. You can be quite adult-proof as well. I wonder if children ever think to use scissors. Doesn't seem like that big of a leap. If so, they can get around your childproofing just like I just have gotten around your childproofing. Melatonin gives you help, but I can overpower it. Okay, well, it's not a real drug, you know. It's like St. John's wort or something. Now, when I take vitamins and stuff, that's different, obviously. Because I take real vitamins made by real Trader Joe's. And that's proven science, guaranteed to make you healthy forever. No, no, no. Ruben, melatonin is just, they get some random plants from their factory yard, grind them up, stick it in a pill, and sell it to you as something specific. Melatonin is actually an anagram for made up, elusive, long-term, addressing time only, nice people. I don't know what it stands for. So you try to tell the Athletics Commission about it with your steroid use. No, I'm just taking herbal supplements. It's just like I just need getting some lawn clippings and just eating it. I believe in it. That's the only reason why. There's no science behind it, just my belief. I use the power of belief to maximize the effect of the placebo effect. All right, took that long to get 4 Benadryls in. I shouldn't need to execute such a large operation to get my pills out of their packaging. It's ridiculous. Pineal gland secretions are impolite. I don't even know where my pineal gland is. I'm not even sure I have one. It just needs to be in darkness a lot so you can have the melatonin secreted to work. It's in my head, huh? Well, so is everything, Fly Guy. Everything's either in my head or in my body or not inside of me. How annoying is that? Oh, thanks a lot, reality. Giving me 3 categories of thing. Why not more than 3? It's like you separate in my mind and my body. Why not say like in space or in someone else's? Why not just 3 things? Because 3 is the Trinity. Everyone knows that 3 is a magic number. Sometimes you can subtract it and divide. Okay, I've got these pills. This handful of colorful pills. Now let's go put the pizza in. You can stay here, actually, because I'm just trying to put the charger in. Okay. Oh, put the pizza in. Alright, we're gonna... You want pizza bread boats? Is that what you call them? See, I picked up the term pizza log from Acacia. She calls them pizza logs. And ever since I heard that, I've been calling them pizza logs. Because it seems like such an appropriate name for them. It's next to my hippocampus. Well, good for it. Got access to the campus. But it's not technically on the campus. I want to feel echoing between my ribs. What does that do? That means you have a hollow chest? You want to have a cavern in your chest? No, they aren't fish oil. It's 4 Benadryls, 4 gabapentins, and 1 olanzapine. Should put me to sleep. Before I go to sleep, though, I have to go pee. Descartes had the idea that the soul interacts with the body by the pineal gland, hence the pineal gland was more of a connector rather than a storage facility. Okay. Because the pineal gland was half physical, half ghost. What do you think of Happy Burger Diner? I went there for the first time and they were very happy. Well, we never go there. I don't like it. It's good for breakfast. The breakfast is good. The food's not terrible, but I don't know. It's not great. It's not the best, I guess. There are better places to go in town than Happy Burger Diner. So, I might consider going there at breakfast time. I'm getting breakfast, but we'd never really go there for lunch or dinner. Yeah, it does the job, but yeah. It's a place worth going to once because I got a bunch of crazy crap on the wall, you know? But once you've been there once, you've experienced the Happy Burger Diner, there's no compelling need to go back. Show media, we just... You're like a rambunctious 14-year-old. The Alexandrian anatomist Strato decided the soul lived behind the eyebrows. My soul lives in different parts of my body depending on the season and its mood. In the spring, it tends to go down to my knees. Wait, what is that doll on the wall? Well, you're talking about this doll? This is Tyler Churchill Murphy. Hi, I'm Tyler Churchill Murphy. I may be a baby, but I'm still pleased to make your acquaintance. Over there I put River Fox, but probably I'm not going to keep River Fox up there long term. Yeah, at one point we were charmed by it, but not anymore. We like the barbecue place. We like shortstop sandwiches. There's a great place in Oakhurst that we've been to a few times lately called Buns and Shakes. Technically, it's called Yosemite Buns and Shakes, but like everything down there is called Yosemite this, Yosemite that, so just call it Buns and Shakes. It's the shells for the surround sound, right? And I do have this surround sound speakers up in the attic, but they have this more efficient, probably better system of just having this like speaker bar thing up front and the woofer in the back, and it's fine. I don't need surround sound, but I do have the hardware for it up in the attic. So, if I ever got a surround sound bug up my ass, I could presumably surround myself with sound. So we got a pizza cooking in the oven. Burns don't burn on the oven. Beans don't burn on the grill. So when I was growing up, I heard that song and I sang it like this. Yeah, I think until not that long ago, maybe Rachel corrected me about it or something. But yeah, that song. We're moving on up. It says in the song "To the East Side." It says we're moving on up. No. To a deluxe apartment in the sky. So I always think it is we're moving on up to the top, to a deluxe apartment in the sky, even though it didn't sound like the top at all. I couldn't really probably tell what they were saying. I just thought, well, the top makes sense. East side, that's not up. Rachel, you're a person, not a restaurant. Also, the Mariposa Marketplace is such an odd, eccentric store that had everything under the sun there. I'm not even joking. I'm not exactly sure which store you're talking about, but it could. I think I know which one. I think it's where we got that pipe, Rachel, from before, maybe. You don't need to worry about anything, Rachel. When did your adulthood fascination with dolls begin? I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. So, the point is, I was saying it to the top because that made sense, right? I didn't know as a kid that East Side was somewhere you'd move up to. You have nothing to worry about except looming existential dread. Yeah, well. We all have that. It's enough to make you cry, 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 cry. What a great song. Everybody's singing the same thing. It's all tonight, 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 tonight. By LCD Sound System. Got some of the best lyrics of any song ever. They're so brilliant. That guy's a really brilliant lyricist in more than one song. There was a joke. There was a joke. Now, nothing but existential dread and the horror. The horror of my inevitable doom. Why did the chicken cross the road? Simply to die and be forgotten. You know, like the Bible says, God was so mad when they ate that apple. He came down and said, listen, you fucked up. Eve, from now on, you and all women are going to have to suffer the pain of childbirth and menstruation. And Adam, from now on, you and all men will toil and suffer throughout all of your life, and then you will grow old and die. Alright, why did the chicken even bother? Why did the chicken cross the road? Does it matter? Speaking of money, so is everyone that qualifies really going to get a $2,000 stimulus check? Well, I hope so. That'd be nice. Everybody love a stimulus check. Everybody likes getting stimulated. I like a stimulus check. I like getting stimulated by checks. It'll stimulate me into having an additional $2,000. Of course, you know, if I had to choose my afterlife, well, I delay that choice by saying, okay, this is simulation. I wake up at the end of the life in my simulation tube, and I come back the next day to simulate a new life. And that's what people in this utopian advanced tech civilization do with their lives. They every day is simulated another life. Of course, at some point they're going to die in the real world, and then we'll still have to find out what happens. But I would like that to be, deferring that to later. All right, but look, you can still get heaven. What I'm saying, after this life could be you didn't actually die, you just simulated that life. That would be nice, because then you could put up dying for a number. You maybe you're only like 10 years old. I like I was 10-year-old. I'm like, damn, I was set on easy mode and I still fucked it up royally. But yeah, if I had to choose between heaven, purgatory, or hell, I'd want to go to heaven with occasional trips to purgatory to get liquor and stuff. Because, once you're in heaven, your alcoholism is cured, so you can drink again. You just drink responsibly, always enjoy it, never get hungover. It's heaven. Then Valhalla for second place, then Elysium in third, and Muslim heaven is fourth. Now, are you assuming you're going to Muslim heaven as a martyr or as an infidel? Because I'm not sure you get treated very well as an infidel in Muslim heaven. I think they're kind of dicks about it, actually. Especially with your drawing pad so full of pictures of Muhammad. You should have thought a little bit more about that before dying and going to Muslim heaven. I think it'd be cool to change of pace to go down to purgatory and hang out with the purgatorians occasionally. Kind of rubbing their face what they're missing out on. Oh man, this buffet is chintzy down here in purgatory. Now it turns out that the Muslims are half right. You do get to go to Muslim heaven, but you just get treated like shit. You only go to Muslim hell if you eat pork. That's the one deal breaker. But if you get Jesus to forgive you for eating pork, then that qualifies as a pass into Muslim heaven. You just got to ask for forgiveness for all the pork eating before you die. That way you're good for Jewish heaven too. Because they both accept excuse notes from Jesus. The worst heaven, obviously, is Buddhist heaven. There's just a bunch of people sitting silently and trying to be all like mystical. It's like, are you guys gonna party or anything? Shh. Sorry, I didn't know you were meditating again. I'm gonna go have some meat. What do you mean there's no meat up here? Not even beef? Or pork? What is this, Hinduism? I thought you guys were Buddhists. Are you a vegetarian kind of Buddhist? What do you mean all Buddhists are vegetarian? That's not true. Oh, well, I guess if you say so. This is Buddhist heaven. Where's Buddha anyway? I want to rub that fat guy's belly. What do you mean he's not fat? I wish I had never gone to Buddha heaven. Just send me to Buddha purgatory or something. It's too boring. There. That's one freshly cooked pizza. Ready to be eaten. We're going to let it cool down a bit before we start biting into it, though. Silently silencing thinking rice again. 42 virgins. Yeah. Like, wait a second. I gotta take care of this huge flock of teenage girls? Like, am I responsible for their well-being? If so, probably I shouldn't be having sex with them. But, you know, Muslims have a different perspective on that. I think the virgins in Muslim heaven re-hymenize every night. Or the day after they get deflowered, they grow their hymen back. You get any staff? Well, presumably, you get to boss around these girls, but having worked in schools before, I can tell you that's not going to be the most obedient group of people. Okay. Silently thinking rice again. Rice? This is not rice, Winston's mom. You need to learn your foods better, okay? This is called pizza log. Because it looks kind of like a log, but it's pizza. So Rachel's mom is getting us a present, and that present is a fake Christmas tree. These actually look like boats that I never thought of that. No, the Buddhist monk, never mind. You had to have been there. Wait, you were. I was. My brief foray into Buddhist heaven. Hindu heaven you spend most of your time, like, you sit down for dinner, there's a cow right next to you. It's just cows everywhere. Or pizza slippers, pizza flip-flops. Pizza paddle. And you get two of these on a boat. You could use them to paddle yourself through the water. Not a lot of food you can say that about. Calling them boats is fair. It's more accurate than logs. But I guess I'm envisioning logs that have already been sawed in half, maybe. Why do we spell it pizza but call it pizza? I guess one of the mysteries of Italy. Probably has something to do with the Pope. And so, it could be pizza boat or it could be pizza paddle. You call this oblong? I think somewhere in the Vatican's archives is the recipe for the first one of these kind of pizzas. If we were to find it, we'd be able to determine what its actual name is in Latin. There's a rhomboid. It's got curves on the ends. It could be a sarcophagus. It could be like a nameplate on a desk. Stylized nameplate. Mamma mia! Ma adesso cosa pizza? I was watching John Boy Media earlier or yesterday. They were showed this sport in Italy where basically like kind of like rugby, except you punch people and do martial arts and stuff. Oh, it's like, okay. What about this sport? It seems like some contemporary thing made up. It's actually an old thing from a long time ago that they've been doing there forever. All right. If you're on defense, you're trying to punch and or grapple down to the ground and pin them like wrestling so they can't participate on the offense. The first pizza was just a corn tortilla with some dung on it. And Mexico's like, I made it a pizza. And Italy's like, oh no, that's not a pizza. Then Italy made like a regular pizza dough with dung on it. And Mexico's like, yeah, pizza's not any better than our pizza. Because they had an Italian accent at the time, too. They tried a succession of different toppings. Dung, rocks, sticks, air. Air was considerably more popular than dung, rocks, or sticks. And one day someone says, how about we put in the cheese? And that day, pizza was born. Of course, there were some traditionalists who wanted to stick with the dung. Always saying things like, it's an acquired taste, but if it's goat dung, it can be quite good, really. I think most of the people knew they were just showing off. Those are the same people who ate mushrooms, the non-psychedelic kind. Oh, it's got so much umami. Tastes like gross fungus, get it out of your mouth. Well, we sacrificed your firstborn and to put it on the pizza. What? You guys, I liked that child. You had 16 children. Well, 4 of them alive. I know, but I wanted to keep 5 of them alive. You should have asked me first. Well, regardless, no sense letting a good pizza go to waste. I feel like I don't say things like that. Well, Terrence, sometimes I engage in, negative self-talk. But find the things that give you joy and satisfaction, and find joy and satisfaction in them to the extent that you can. More importantly, I'm guessing I've got, 60 or 70 years left, maybe 80. I plan to live to ripe old age of 120 or something. Oh, I guess Terrence is gone. Goodbye. Well, that was satisfying to eat. I feel like a real champion of my own SI. Well, telling me that I'm old and about to die soon is not the most socially aware thing one might say, but I didn't interpret it as an insult. I'm sorry your life's messed up. I know how much it sucks to be in in a distressed mental state, you know. The mind is a place of its own and can turn a heaven into hell and a hell into heaven. Some quote I saw recently said, I always wondered at old people how they handle life so well to grow old and look back and be proud. Well, that's not necessarily what old age is or growing older is. For me, growing older has meant a lot of returning to and reevaluating my earlier life decisions, behaviors, etc., and finding them sorely lacking and being inclined to condemn myself for those failures. Even though I've grown and learned from them, I, you know, it's hard to divorce oneself from ownership of one's previous selves because they were still you. Regardless, um, it's like God said, you will toil and suffer for all of your life, and then you will grow old and die. So, you gotta find as much joy as possible in the good moments, I guess. May the fleas of 1,000 camels infest the crotch of the person who screws up your day, and may their arms be too short to scratch. That is a real blessing you're offering there, health nut. There's no doubt that you are a health nut because you understand how unhealthy it is to have so many fleas. Okay, I'm going to go pee now. I have to pee. I'm going to go into the bathroom. I'm going to use my penis to pee, and then I'll be back. While I'm gone, you guys can look at this cat over here. There. Enjoy. That's free cat, bonus cat footage. You're taking loads of anxiety and antidepressants. Well, this can be helpful, and sometimes they can get you kind of. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. If you're taking boost bars and anti-anxiety med, don't kick it all of a sudden or you'll have panic attacks. That's my experience. I don't know if that would be true for you or not, but that's what I'm telling you what my experience was. I can handle just the dopamine crash, but when I had a dopamine crash concurrent with um, boost bar withdrawals, that was a really rough couple of days there. Few days. I also have big teeth problems. If any consolation. I am getting stuff done on it relatively soon. So Rachel's going to the dentist. We're having a little flurry of dentist stuff. Just gonna go get her teeth cleaned and have the doctor look at her teeth on a week from today. Or a week from Tuesday. It's no longer Tuesday. Now it's Wednesday morning. Okay. I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Thanks for being here. It's been a wonderful time. And may all your Christmases be bright.